The waves crashed against the rocky shore as Alex Carter walked along the beach. The evening sky turned dark with storm clouds. Alex was a marine biologist who spent most of his days studying ocean life at this remote research station. He loved the quiet and the chance to be alone with his thoughts. Tonight was different. The wind picked up, and the sea became rough. Alex pulled his jacket tighter around himself. He was about to turn back when something caught his eye. There was movement in the water that didn't match the normal wave patterns. "That's strange," he said to himself, moving closer to the edge of the rocks. Lightning flashed, and in that brief moment of light, Alex saw it clearly. It wasn't a fish or a seal. It looked like a person thrashing in the water, struggling to stay afloat. Without thinking twice, Alex dropped his bag and jacket. He kicked off his shoes and dove into the cold water. The waves pushed against him as he swam toward the drowning figure. The salt water stung his eyes, but he kept them fixed on the spot where he had seen the movement. "Hold on," he shouted, though his voice was lost in the wind. "I'm coming." When he reached the spot, he saw nothing at first. Then a hand broke the surface. Fingers splayed wide in desperation. Alex grabbed it and pulled. The body that came up with his pull was lighter than he expected. Alex wrapped one arm around the person and began swooning back to shore. The return journey was harder, fighting against the current with only one free arm. His muscles burned with effort, but he pushed forward. He would not let go. Finally, his feet touched the sandy bottom. He dragged the limp body onto the beach and collapsed beside it, breathing hard. Only then did he turn to look at who he had saved. Alex froze. This was not a human. The figure had skin that shimmered with a blue glow even in the dim light. Where a human would have ears, this being had what looked like small fins. Her face, Alex somehow knew it was female, was almost human-like, but with features that were too perfect, too symmetrical. Her eyes were closed, and her chest barely moved. "Hey, can you hear me?" Alex said, touching her shoulder gently. The being's eyes snapped open. They were deep purple with no whites, just large irises that seemed to take up the entire eye socket. She jerked away from him in fear, then doubled over, coughing up water. "It's okay," Alex said softly, holding up his hands to show he meant no harm. "You're safe now." The being touched her throat and made a sound that was unlike any language Alex had ever heard. It was melodic but clearly filled with distress. Alex pointed to himself. "Alex," he said slowly. The storm grew stronger around them. The being shivered, clearly not meant for Earth's cold waters or night air. "Come on," Alex said, gesturing toward the lights of his cabin in the distance. "Let's get you somewhere warm." He offered his hand, and after a moment's hesitation, she took it. Her fingers had a thin webbing between them that Alex hadn't noticed before. As they walked toward his cabin, Alex's mind raced. He had just rescued an alien, an actual being from another world. What was he supposed to do now? Call the government? The news? Keep it secret? The alien girl stumbled beside him, still weak from nearly drowning. One thing was clear. She needed help. Everything else could wait. Alex's small cabin came into view, its windows glowing with warm light against the stormy darkness. As he helped her up the steps, he had no idea that this moment would change not just his life, but the future of the entire human race. Alex's cabin was small but cozy. He quickly grabbed some dry towels and handed one to the blue-skinned visitor. She took it carefully, watching him with those large purple eyes. Her movements were graceful despite her obvious exhaustion. "Are you hurt?" Alex asked, pointing to her and then making a pained face. The alien girl tilted her head, not understanding. She touched her throat and made more of those musical sounds. Then she looked frustrated and began to scan the room. Alex turned on the heater and motioned for her to sit on the couch. "I'm going to make some tea. It'll warm you up." While the water boiled, Alex watched her from the kitchen. She had stopped shivering but seemed fascinated by ordinary objects. The lamp, the bookshelf, even the pattern on his throw pillows. When she touched his television remote, it turned on suddenly, making her jump back. "It's okay," Alex said with a smile. "It's just television." The alien reached into a hidden pocket in her strange, form-fitting clothing. She pulled out a small device about the size of a matchbox. It was damaged, with water dripping from its seams. She frowned at it, then set it on the coffee table. Alex brought 2 cups of tea and sat across from her. He took a sip from his cup to show it was safe, then offered her the other one. She sniffed it first, then took a small taste. Her eyes widened in surprise, and she took another sip, larger this time. Alex grabbed a notepad and pen. He drew a simple picture of himself and wrote Alex underneath it. Then he handed the pen to her. The alien understood immediately. She took the pen and drew herself. A quick but perfect sketch that captured her alien features. Underneath, she wrote in strange symbols, Neri. Neri. Alex tried to pronounce it. "Is that your name?" The alien, Neri, nodded, seeming pleased that he had understood. For the next hour, they drew pictures back and forth. Through these simple drawings, Alex learned that Neri had been on a ship that was damaged. She had escaped in something small, a pod, he guessed, that crashed into the ocean. "So you're not made for water?" Alex asked, drawing a stick figure swimming, then crossing it out. Neri shook her head firmly. She drew what looked like her home planet, mostly land with very little water. Then she pointed to her neck, where Alex could now see what looked like temporary gills closing up. "Emergency breathing," Alex guessed. Suddenly, Neri's small device made a chirping sound. She picked it up quickly and pressed something. The water damage seemed to be drying out. The device projected a small hologram above it, showing symbols that moved and changed. Alex stared in amazement. That's incredible technology. Neri focused intensely on the device. After a few minutes of adjustments, she pressed another button. The device hummed, then spoke in a mechanical voice. "Translation protocol initializing. Basic Earth language detected. English. Processing." Alex couldn't believe his ears. "You can understand me now." The device beeped again. Neri spoke into it, her musical language flowing. After a pause, the device translated. "Yes, partially. This device is damaged but functional. I am Neri, scientific emissary of the Lyrithi High Council. Your royalty?" Alex asked, remembering her elegant bearing. Neri smiled for the first time. The device translated. "Not as you understand it. My position is both scientist and diplomat. My people have observed Earth for many cycles." Alex sat back, stunned. "There are more of you, watching us." "Yes," came the translation. "We study developing worlds. My research vessel was damaged by solar activity. Not supposed to make contact yet." Alex looked out the window. The storm was still raging. He thought about what he should do. Call someone. Who would even believe him? Neri's device beeped urgently. The translation came through. "Please, no authorities. Not safe. Earth not ready for official contact." Their eyes met across the table. In that moment, Alex made his decision. Whatever happened next, he would help Neri, even if it meant keeping the biggest secret in human history. 3 days passed since Alex rescued Neri from the ocean. Each day, they learned more about each other. Neri's translation device worked better now that it had dried out completely. She fixed some parts of it using tools from Alex's research equipment. "I need to contact my people," Neri explained one morning. "But this device is not strong enough to reach them." Alex nodded, thinking about how to help. "We could try to build something stronger, but I don't know much about your technology." "I can guide you," Neri said. "But I need parts you might not have here." Alex looked out the window. His cabin was far from town, which had been good for keeping Neri hidden. But now they needed to go into public. "You can't go into town looking like that," Alex said, gesturing to her blue skin and unusual features. People would panic. Neri understood the problem. On my world, we have studied many species. We know about disguises. She reached again into her strange clothing and pulled out a small tube. When she squeezed it, a cream-colored substance came out. She spread it over her blue skin, and Alex watched in amazement as it changed color to match human skin tones. "That's incredible," he said. "Temporary," Neri warned. "Will last 6 hours only." Next, she used the cream on her face, covering her alien features. With her eyes closed, she looked almost human. Almost. "Your eyes," Alex said. "They're still purple." Neri nodded. "I have these." She pulled out what looked like contact lenses. When she put them in, her large purple eyes appeared normal, brown with white surroundings. Alex found some of his clothes for her, jeans and a hoodie that were too big but would work, with her hair down covering her ear area, and sunglasses as an extra precaution. She looked like any human woman. "How do I appear?" she asked. "Like a normal person," Alex said with a smile. "Just don't talk to anyone. Your English is good through the translator, but your accent is still strange." They drove to town in Alex's old truck. Neri was fascinated by everything. The small shops, the people walking around, even the birds flying overhead. "Your world has so much water and life," she said quietly. "My planet is mostly desert. We learn to value every living thing because they are rare." In the electronics store, Alex gathered the parts Neri had described. The store clerk gave them odd looks when Alex purchased unusual combinations of electronics, but didn't ask questions. As they walked back to the truck, a small dog ran up to Neri, wagging its tail. She froze, unsure what to do. "It's friendly," Alex assured her. "You can pet it." Neri carefully reached down and touched the dog's head. It licked her hand, and a beautiful smile spread across her face. "So soft," she whispered. "We have no animals like this." The dog's owner, an elderly woman, approached. "Sorry about that. Rocky loves meeting new people." "No problem," Alex said quickly. "My friend here just loves dogs." Neri nodded but stayed quiet as Alex had advised. "Haven't seen you around before," the woman said, looking at Neri curiously. "She's visiting from overseas," Alex explained, "just showing her around town." As they drove back to the cabin, Neri was quiet, looking out the window at the passing scenery. "Is something wrong?" Alex asked. "Your kindness," she said finally. "You risk much to help me. On my world, we debate if humans are ready for contact. Some say you are too violent, too divided. But others, like me, see your potential, your compassion." Alex thought about this. We're not perfect, but most of us try to be good. Back at the cabin, they found a car parked outside. A woman with short blonde hair stood on the porch, knocking on the door. "Who is that?" Neri asked, suddenly alert. Alex groaned. "That's Samantha, right? My colleague from the research station. This could be a problem." "Stay in the truck," Alex whispered to Neri. "I'll see what she wants." Alex got out and walked toward Samantha, trying to appear normal. She turned as she heard his footsteps. "Alex, where have you been?" "I've been calling you for days," Samantha said, crossing her arms. Her eyes moved past him to the truck where Neri sat. "Who's that?" "Just a friend visiting," Alex said quickly. "What brings you out here, Sam?" Samantha gave him a suspicious look. "There's been strange activity in the area. The government sent investigators. They found something in the water where you do your research." Alex's heart beat faster. "What kind of something?" "Metal pieces. Not from Earth, they say." Samantha lowered her voice. "Everyone's talking about it at the research station. And you suddenly stopped coming into work. And don't answer calls." "I've been busy," Alex said, glancing back at the truck. Neri was watching them closely. "There's more," Samantha continued. "A man came looking for you, Agent Daniel Powell. He asked a lot of questions about your research. This was worse than Alex thought. If government agents were already investigating, how long before they found Neri? I'll come by the station tomorrow, Alex promised. Right now isn't a good time. Samantha looked hurt. We used to tell each other everything, Alex. Whatever you're involved in, just be careful. After she drove away, Alex and Neri rushed inside with their supplies. They found my escape pod, Neri said, concern in her voice. This is bad timing. Alex helped her set up the communication parts on his kitchen table. How long until you can contact your people? With these parts, maybe 2 days to build. Then we need power. Neri studied the electronics. More power than your home can provide. Alex thought for a moment. My friend Kevin might help. He knows about electronics and has generators. The next morning, Alex called Kevin Martinez, an old college friend who now worked as an electrician. Without explaining everything, Alex asked for help with this special project that needed extra power. Kevin arrived that afternoon with equipment in his truck. He was a short man with a friendly smile and curious eyes. So what's this big project? Kevin asked as he carried in a portable generator. Alex had prepared a story. Testing new marine communication devices, top secret research. When Kevin saw Neri, he stopped and stared. Even with her disguise, something about her was different. This is Nana, Alex said. My research partner. Nice to meet you, Kevin said, extending his hand. Neri had practiced this human greeting. She shook his hand carefully. Hello. They spent hours setting up the equipment. Kevin asked many questions about their project, which Alex answered vaguely. Neri mostly stayed quiet, working on her device. As evening approached, they heard vehicles coming up the road. Through the window, Alex saw 2 black SUVs parking outside. Government, he whispered. They found us. Kevin looked confused. What's going on, Alex? Men in suits got out of the vehicles. One was tall with gray hair and a stern face. Likely Agent Powell. Neri's disguise cream was wearing off. Small patches of blue were showing through on her hands. I need to hide, she said urgently. Alex led her to a small storage room at the back of the cabin. Stay here. Don't make a sound. Kevin stared at the blue patches on Neri's skin. Alex, what is she? There was a loud knock at the door. I'll explain later, Alex promised. But right now, I need you to trust me. Please. Kevin looked at Neri, then back at Alex. After a moment, he nodded. What do you need me to do? The knocking grew louder. Dr. Carter, this is Agent Powell. We need to speak with you immediately. Alex took a deep breath. Whatever happened next would determine not just his fate, but possibly the relationship between humans and aliens forever. Coming. Alex called out. He gave Kevin a desperate look. Can you distract them while I hide the equipment? Kevin nodded, understanding the seriousness of the situation. He went to the door while Alex quickly covered Neri's communication device with a blanket. Good evening, Kevin said cheerfully as he opened the door. Can I help you? Agent Powell looked Kevin up and down. I'm looking for Dr. Alex Carter. He's just cleaning up some equipment, Kevin explained. I'm Kevin Martinez, helping with some electrical work. Come in. Agent Powell entered with another agent, a woman with sharp eyes who immediately began scanning the room. Dr. Carter, Powell said when Alex appeared from the back room. I'm Agent Daniel Powell with the Special Sciences Division. We need to ask you some questions about unusual activity in the ocean near your research area. Alex tried to keep his voice steady. What kind of unusual activity? We found debris of unknown origin, Powell said, watching Alex's face carefully. And there were reports of lights in the sky 3 nights ago. The second agent walked around the cabin, looking at everything. She stopped at the kitchen table where the covered equipment sat. What's this project you're working on? She asked. Marine communication research, Alex answered, using the same story he'd told Kevin. testing new frequencies in water. Powell didn't seem convinced. And you need this much electrical equipment for that. The generators are mine, Kevin jumped in. Alex needed extra power for his tests. The female agent lifted a corner of the blanket. Interesting design. Doesn't look like standard research equipment. Alex's heart raced. It's experimental. Suddenly, there was a crash from the back room. Everyone turned toward the sound. What was that? Powell asked sharply. Probably my cat. Alex lied. He knocks things over all the time. Powell looked at his partner. Check it out. As the female agent moved toward the back room, Kevin accidentally knocked over a mug of coffee, spilling it across the floor. Oh, I'm so sorry, he exclaimed loudly, drawing attention away from the back room. While everyone looked at the spill, Alex slipped toward the storage room. He opened the door just enough to whisper, "Hide better." When he turned around, Agent Powell was watching him closely. "Dr. Carter, let me be direct," Powell said. "We know something crashed into the ocean that night. It wasn't from Earth. If you're hiding information, that's a federal offense." Alex felt trapped. Before he could respond, the female agent returned. "Nothing there except storage boxes," she reported. Powell didn't look away from Alex. "We'll be watching this area. If you see or hear anything unusual, you're required to report it immediately." After the agents finally left, Alex, Kevin, and Neri gathered in the living room. Neri's disguise had worn off completely, revealing her true blue-skinned appearance. "So, an alien," Kevin said, staring at Neri. "That's what this is about." "I'm sorry I didn't tell you," Alex said. "I had to protect her." Neri's device translated as she spoke. "Thank you both for your help. My people will be grateful." Kevin shook his head in amazement. "This is the biggest discovery in human history, and you're hiding it in your cabin." "There's more," Neri said. Her expression turned serious. "I must tell you the truth now. My crash was not entirely an accident." Alex and Kevin exchanged looks. "What do you mean?" Alex asked. "My people, the Lyrithi, have been watching Earth for centuries," Neri explained. "We monitor developing worlds that might someday join the Galactic Concord." "Like a test?" Kevin asked. Neri nodded. "Earth is at a critical point. Many species destroy themselves when they reach your level of technology." "So you crashed on purpose?" Alex felt confused and slightly betrayed. "Not exactly," Neri said. "My mission was observation only. But when my ship was damaged, I chose to crash near you specifically, Alex Carter." "Me? Why?" Alex couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Because my people needed to know. Would a human risk their life to save an unknown being?" "Your actions answered that question." Neri smiled. "And now, everything will change." As if on cue, her communication device began to hum and glow with power. A signal was being received from deep space. The communication device glowed with a soft blue light. Symbols appeared above it in a holographic display, floating in the air. Neri spoke quickly in her musical language as she adjusted controls. "What's happening?" Alex asked, watching in amazement. "My people received my signal," Neri replied through her translator. "They are sending a rescue ship." Kevin stared at the hologram. "A spaceship is coming to Earth." "Now?" "Yes. They will arrive in 6 hours," Neri said. "They have technology to avoid your detection systems." Alex felt a mix of relief and sadness. Soon Neri would leave, and life would return to normal. Or would it? After knowing that aliens existed, could anything ever be normal again? "When they come, what happens to us?" Alex asked. "Will your people erase our memories or something?" Neri looked surprised. "No, we respect consciousness. But I must ask you both a question." She paused, looking serious. "What do you think should happen next between our worlds?" Alex and Kevin glanced at each other, caught off guard by the question. "You mean like official contact?" Kevin asked. "Wouldn't that cause panic?" "Some would panic," Alex agreed. but others would welcome it. It's a big step. Neri nodded. This is why I ask. My report will help decide when Earth joins the Galactic Concord. How many other alien species are in this Concord? Kevin's eyes were wide with wonder. 322 civilizations, Neri replied. Earth would be the 323rd, if accepted. The idea was overwhelming. Hundreds of alien civilizations existed beyond Earth, all connected and communicating with each other, while humans remained alone, thinking they were the only intelligent life in the universe. Most developing worlds need centuries more before they're ready, Neri continued. But your actions, Alex, have changed our assessment of humanity. My actions? Just because I saved you. Alex shook his head. I'm not special. Many humans would have done the same. That is precisely what makes it significant, Neri said with a smile. You risked your life for an unknown being without hesitation. Then you protected me from your authorities despite potential consequences to yourself. The communication device beeped and new symbols appeared. My ship is approaching Earth orbit, Neri announced. They will send a small craft to this location. She looked at Alex intently. The High Council has authorized me to extend an invitation. What kind of invitation? Alex asked. To become Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Concord. The room fell silent. Kevin whispered, Wow. Me? An ambassador? Alex couldn't believe what he was hearing. It is an unprecedented offer, Neri explained. Normally, a world must achieve unified government before joining. But the Council believes having a human perspective now could benefit everyone. What would it involve? Alex asked, his mind racing. You would leave Earth and travel with me to the Concord homeworlds. You would receive treatments to extend your lifespan and learn about thousands of years of collected knowledge. You would speak for humanity in matters that affect the galaxy. Kevin put his hand on Alex's shoulder. This is incredible, but what about your life here? Before Alex could answer, they heard vehicles approaching outside. Through the window, they saw several black SUVs and military trucks coming up the road. They found us, Kevin said. Someone must have tipped them off. Neri checked her device. My rescue ship is still 1 hour away. Alex looked from the approaching vehicles to Neri, then to Kevin. This was the moment of decision. Stay on Earth and face interrogation by his government, possibly putting Neri in danger, or accept her invitation and become part of something greater than humanity had ever imagined. Alex Carter, Neri said softly. What is your choice? Alex looked at the approaching vehicles, then back at Neri. In that moment, he made his decision. I'll go with you, he said, but Kevin needs to be safe too. Neri nodded. We must hurry. My ship can create a distraction. She spoke quickly into her device. Outside, a bright flash of light appeared in the sky above the trees. The government vehicles stopped as everyone looked up. That will confuse their equipment for a few minutes, Neri explained. Kevin, you should leave now. Say you were just doing electrical work and know nothing. Kevin looked at Alex. Are you sure about this? I've never been more sure of anything, Alex replied. He hugged his friend. Take care of Samantha and the others. Maybe someday I'll return. Kevin nodded, tears in his eyes. Good luck out there. He hurried to his truck and drove away, passing the government vehicles that were now focused on the strange light in the sky. Neri's device beeped. My rescue ship is arriving earlier than expected. They will land in the clearing behind your cabin in 2 minutes. Alex quickly grabbed a photo of his parents and a small notebook. There was no time for anything else. His heart raced as they ran out the back door just as agents began pounding on the front. In the clearing, air shimmered and distorted. A silver craft appeared, about the size of a small bus. It made almost no sound as it touched down on the grass. A door opened in its side, revealing soft blue light within. Come, Neri said, taking Alex's hand. Your new life begins now. They ran to the ship and stepped inside. The door closed behind them, just as agents burst into the clearing, weapons drawn. The ship lifted off silently, then accelerated into the night sky, faster than any human aircraft could move. Inside, 3 other Lirithi greeted them. They looked similar to Neri, but with subtle differences in their features. They spoke with Neri in their musical language, occasionally glancing at Alex with curious purple eyes. "They welcome you," Neri translated. "We are now leaving Earth's atmosphere." Alex looked out a window and gasped. The curve of Earth appeared below them, beautiful blue and white against the blackness of space. In minutes, they had left his world behind. 5 years passed. Alex stood on a platform in the great hall of the Concorde. His appearance had changed. He looked younger than when he left Earth, the result of Lirithi medical treatments that had extended his life. His mind had expanded too, filled with knowledge of hundreds of civilizations. Beside him stood Neri, now his partner in both diplomatic work and life. Together they had helped resolve conflicts between species and shared human perspectives that sometimes provided surprising solutions to ancient problems. "It is time," Neri said softly. Alex nodded. Today was the day he had worked toward for 5 years. Below the platform waited a delegation from Earth, the first official human representatives to visit the Concorde. Earth had changed too. After the undeniable evidence of Alex's departure in an alien ship, governments had been forced to acknowledge the existence of extraterrestrial life. Initial panic had given way to curiosity and preparation. Now, humanity was taking its first official steps into the galactic community. As the Earth delegates entered, Alex recognized Samantha and Kevin among them. His friends had become part of the new Earth Concorde relations team. They looked up and saw him, their faces showing shock and joy at seeing him again. Alex stepped forward to address the delegation. "Welcome, representatives of Earth. I am Alex Carter, first ambassador of humanity." Later, when Kevin asked him about the unbelievable reward mentioned in the reports about his disappearance, Alex smiled. "It wasn't the extended life or the technology," he explained. "It was the chance to help humanity avoid the destructive paths other species followed. The true reward was becoming the bridge between worlds and changing the destiny of our entire species forever." As the Earth delegation toured the Concorde capital, Alex walked beside Neri, watching humans and aliens beginning to understand each other. From a single act of rescue on a stormy night had come humanity's greatest opportunity. The future was bright with possibilities, all because one human had been willing to save a drowning alien girl.